And that's the day The Office died. Wait, stop the music. This video just can't be 20 seconds long. Now, I think a majority of us would agree that The Office went on a steep decline once Steve Carell left the show. It seemed like the most popular choice. But when I was rewatching the series in preparation for making this essay, I came to a different conclusion. In this video, I'm going to explore the history of The Office, offering up 3 possible episodes that may seem like the most popular choices, until finally landing on the day I believe The Office died. So let's try this again, and this time I promise I won't finish so quick.
That's what she said!
First, pilot. Writer Greg Daniels of The Simpsons and King of the Hill fame had the impossible task of adapting the much-beloved British series by Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant for an American audience. Cast with relative unknowns, the pilot premiered March 24, 2005 to mixed reviews, with most criticizing how the episode was an apparent carbon copy of the British pilot, with similar jokes and characters without offering anything new or original. The first episode was the pilot, and the script had to be a situation where, you're trying to get picked up. And since NBC had bought an adaptation, completely starting from scratch would be a very risky thing to do. So that was the episode where we hired all the people, we didn't know who any of the actors were when we started shooting. The first episode really should be buried, really, of any new series. In the show's second episode, Diversity Day, The Office really started to find its own voice, fleshing out the main characters and offering a commentary to social issues unique to America that American audiences could better relate to. The show was improving creatively, but the ratings continued to plummet to the point where The Office was almost canceled. 2 things happened within the next few months that went hand in hand in saving The Office from cancellation. The release of The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which made Steve Carell an overnight superstar, and, oddly enough, the release of the 5th generation iPod, also known as the iPod Video.
Whoa, video iPod.
Somebody really got carried away with the spirit of Christmas. That was me. I got carried away.
Like some shows in the past which were saved by excellent DVD sales, The Office was saved in large part by digital sales on iTunes, as customers were hungry for content to add to their iPod videos. I'm not sure that we'd still have the show on the air without the iTunes boost. The network had only ordered so many episodes, but when it went onto iTunes and really started taking off, that gave us another way to see the true potential other than just Nielsen. It just kind of happened at a great time. The Office's popularity quickly skyrocketed from that point on, amassing a slew of awards and phenomenal ratings. The successful adaptation from the UK to America even spawned other Office adaptations across the world, in countries such as France, Germany, Canada, Chile, and Israel.
Et il est chiant, il arrête pas de me mettre du fromage partout dans mes affaires. L'autre fois, c'était du Babybel dans les poches de mon impair, c'était dégueulasse. C'était déjà pas drôle.
A few of the cast members became household names, such as John Krasinski, Jenna Fisher, and Mindy Kaling, but none of them came close to the popularity of Steve Carell. Second, Goodbye Michael. Steve Carell became a huge star throughout the run of The Office, appearing in films like Little Miss Sunshine, Get Smart, Date Night, and Despicable Me. With an actor in such high demand, it was only a matter of time before he would take the permanent leap from TV actor to film actor. And so after almost 7 seasons and 148 episodes, Steve Carell left the show on April 28, 2011, in the episode Goodbye Michael. Like I said earlier, this seemed like the obvious choice when deciding the day The Office died. As the main character, Michael Scott was the foundation of the entire series. And as history has clearly proven, most shows can't survive the seismic shift of losing a main character. That 70s Show, The X-Files, Nashville, Scrubs, The Vampire Diaries, and Spin City are just a few examples of shows that severely suffered once a main character left the show. NBC was struggling in the ratings at the time, and with The Office its highest rated scripted show by far, they had no choice but to try and continue the show without him. And so the creative team scrambled to fill the void, which led to perhaps the show's biggest misstep, Robert California. Third, the list. The character of Robert California never really fit with the rest of the show. His personality, which was at first dominating and overbearing, quickly devolved into aloof creepiness. As opposed to Michael Scott, who was always a main part of the story action, Robert was hardly an active presence in the show. He was completely absent in the episode Lotto, and then absent for a 5-episode stretch from Jury Duty to Test the Store. It was clear that the character wasn't working, and so James Spader left the show after only 1 season.
It's been a great year.
Robert California wasn't the sole reason why The Office went downhill, but his character was just another emphasis on the one-note characters that already plagued the show. When Greg Daniels adapted The Office for an American audience, he followed the British version by really only giving layered depth to a few main characters: the boss, 2 salesmen, and the receptionist. And this worked well for the British version because the show only lasted for 12 episodes and a special. But the American Office stretched everything for as long as they could, and this was fine when Michael Scott was still around and characters like Stanley, Creed, Meredith, Toby, and Kevin could shine with a few one-liners. But when Michael left, these one-note characters were then required to carry more story weight than they were ever initially meant to, and it just never worked. Michael Schur, staff writer on The Office for the first 4 seasons, would go on to correct this mistake in his future workplace comedies, Parks and Recreation and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. 2 shows where every character is well developed and with their own unique goals and ambitions. Now, those are 3 popular choices, but I believe The Office died on October 8, 2009 with the 2-part episode Niagara. These 2 episodes were the perfect culmination of the romance of Jim and Pam, a romance we've been following since the pilot episode. The Office was still at its creative peak at this point, but after Jim and Pam's wedding, the show appeared aimless, reinforced by the mediocre episode that immediately followed, Mafia. There were still some great individual episodes throughout the remainder of the series, such as The Delivery, Garage Sale, and Threat Level Midnight, but overall, the writing staff appeared out of ideas. In order to stretch the show for as long as they could, the writers basically had every character involved in an office romance at some point, and they even tried to spin off Dwight's character in his own show, The Farm, which was ultimately passed on by NBC. A slow downfall is a tragic fate for any show, especially for one like The Office, which was terrific for so many years. Original cast members and staff writers BJ Novak and Mindy Kaling left the show in its final season to pursue other projects. Ed Helms was absent for a large portion of the final season as well because he was filming The Hangover 3. In the end, The Office had a strong final episode, building to a wedding between Dwight and Angela, but that wedding lacked the emotional weight and significance of Jim and Pam's, found in the episode Niagara.
The boat was actually Plan C, the church was Plan B, and Plan A was marrying her a long, long time ago. Pretty much the day I met her.
Which is why on October 8th, 2009, The Office didn't die, but maybe it should have.